Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how you can export, import and set up a custom character for Unreal Engine 4. So before we begin, I have the blue character here that we have inside of Unreal. Now the key difference here is that I have downloaded this from the Unreal forum, and a person has or a user has gone ahead and retargeted or relinked up the bones to a Max biped, which makes it much more easier for people who are using 3D Studio Max as opposed to Maya. So we have the character, and if I just hide this, the character, you can see that we have a standard rig here, which will allow us to easily animate if that is our main goal. And if we double click here and use hide selection, you can see we have the original bones here. So if we try to select one of these and move them, we cannot, and the reason is that they have been relinked to the Max biped here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we export the character first. So what we would do is we'd have our blue character, and we would go ahead and hide the Max rig. And so we only have the blue character and our bones. We go to File, Export, Export Selected. We'd go ahead and choose a location. So in this case, my desktop. And you see I have a file here that I've already saved called character. However, I'll go ahead and resave this. So we go to Save. And it's going to switch on overwrite. Now inside these settings, we're not going to have any animation applied to this, so I'm going to uncheck the animation tabs, and we can go ahead and choose OK. So I'm just going to cancel this as I've already done this. So the next thing you would do is you'll go ahead and add a bunch of animations to this. Now I already have some animations set up. I have some custom animations, some custom run and walk animations. However, I've also exported some of the default animations from the character inside Unreal, and we'll use that during the setup process. Okay, so if I unhide all, I'm going to choose no here, and I want you to export a custom animation. I'll show you do that. So I'm going to select one of the nub bones here. So this is the pelvis area, and I'm going to go under motion, and I have some animations that we can go ahead and look at here. So I'm going to go open file, and you can see it's taking me to a location where I have a bunch of animations. So let's see, we can go with one of these, so perhaps a dancing animation, and we'd import this. And if I go ahead and unhide all, you can see this character will basically do a little dance here. So say we want to export this animation, we're not going to be using this inside Unreal, but say if we did, we'd go ahead and we this time hide the character. We go ahead and hide the bone system, and all we want is the original bones, and we go to File, Export, Export Selected, and let's just bring this down and pull this into view, and we can call this dance admin for animation to save. In this case, we do want to turn on animation. We do want to bake the animation, and you can see it's going to ask us the start and the end. So if we if this timeline was longer, then we'd increase the end animation. And if we have many keyframes, it may be possible to use the resample all, which is just basically an optimization. So let's go ahead and choose OK, and this will export, and then we're ready to go and jump into Unreal. Now inside Unreal we need I think it's 5 basic animations. We need a idle, need an idle animation, a walking animation, a running animation, then we need a jump start, jump loop, and jump end. So there's 6 there. Those are the 6 basic animations that we need in order to get a custom character into Unreal. So once we've done that, we can go ahead and open up Unreal. So I've already done this, and I've created 2 folders. one named animations and one named character. So I'm going to right click, go to import, and I'm going to go ahead and choose my character and choose open. And we can leave everything as at default and just press import, and what that will do is it will recognize that we have imported a skeletal mesh, and it will create some additional files too. Now because we're using the hero character here, I'm going to open up the basic material it creates, and I'm just going to double click this and give us an alternative color here. So let's break this. I'm going to plug this into the emissive, so we have this glowing yellow character here. So let's just multiply this, and we'll set this like to 4 or something along those lines. Plug this into the emissive and do this. So we have this very bright character. Maybe a little less there. 2 looks fine. Okay, so we'll save that, and what we're going to do now is go ahead and import our animations. So we'll go to animation, right click, and we can go ahead and choose import. And I'm just going to import all of these animations. Now, it is possible to import all of the animations into one file. So if you just export one animation file, then you can go ahead and do that. What you'd need to do in that particular case is set up the settings inside the importer here. So first of all, we choose skeleton. We want to choose our character. So I have this character underscore skeleton. And because I'm importing all these as separate files, we can choose import. Otherwise, we can go ahead, extend the animations, and start looking at the start and end times of the frames. In any case, I'm just going to go ahead and choose import all, and we're just going to wait for this to import. Okay, so all these have imported. I'm just going to click and drag this in a little bit. There we go. So if we open up one of these, so we have our dance animation is in here. Let's see. There we go. So if we open up the dance animation, you can see that our little yellow character is dancing around. Now, because I have some custom animations and some of them have been exported from the hero character, then some of these are already set up. So what I mean is, if we go to say the jump animation, so we go ahead and choose the jump end, for instance, you can see that the end of the jump is happening, but it's all in one spot. Now, some of the animations that have been created, so let's see the run cycle, you can see that the character is running, but it's not really running in place, and we need that to happen. So what we can do is on the left hand side, we can scroll all the way down, and there's this option that says use root animation. Okay, so this option right here, enable root animation. When I check this, and now you can see the character is running in place. And I need to do that for the run and walk cycle. So I'm going to go ahead and choose use root motion. And if we like, we can go ahead and do this for the dance and the pickup. We also have a pickup animation if we want to set this up properly. And we can also do this with the dance animation over here. So when we click this root animation, you can see that the character is staying in one place and is just dancing. So that may be a good animation if we were to use that as maybe an idle animation or something along those lines. Okay, so we have the animations imported. We have our character imported and ready. So what we need to do now is we need to create a blend space. So to do that, we need to right click, go to animation, and we're going to go ahead and choose this option. It's a little bit off screen here. It says animation blend space. So let's see if I can get this on. So you can see we have this blend space 1D. This is what we want here. So we're going to go ahead and choose character skeleton, which is our character. And I'm going to give this name my character underscore BS for blend space. You can name this whatever you like. So if we open this, here's what we'll get. we'll get the we'll get this this new dialog box, and in here we need to set up the 3 basic animations, and that is the idle, walk, and run. So I'm going to go ahead and you see on the right hand side here we have idle. I'm going to left click and drag, and what this will do is it'll create a point right on the very far left. So we can do this with the walk cycle. We're going to place this around the center here. So you can see that as we are on the far left, it is just stood there, and as we move the mouse over here, you see it's blending into this walk. Now finally we want to go ahead and bring in our run, so now you can see it's running, and as we move our mouse backwards and forward, you can see that it's basically just blending between those animations there. Okay, so if we had a different idle animation than this rifle, we can go ahead and use that if we'd like. But for now, this is going to be fine, so let's just save this. And now we have our blend space, we need to create our animation blueprint. So let's right click, we're going to go down to animation, and you see we have this option that says animation blueprint. In here we want to go ahead and choose our character, choose OK, and we're going to call this my character BP for blueprint. Let's open this up, and what we need to do is we need to borrow a bunch of nodes for our events graph. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our content browser. We're going to go ahead and go over to the blueprints tab. Actually we need to go to characters, and we want to look for this third person admin blueprints, and we're going to go ahead to the events tab, and we want to copy all of the nodes with the exception of these 2. So we don't want to copy this or this one. So let's select all these. We're going to press Ctrl C. Let's go back to our blueprints, and we're going to press Ctrl V. So we pasted these in, and let's pull these out over here and do this. So we need to connect up our options, our 2 additional nodes here. So let's go ahead and plug these in. So let's plug all of these up. So once we've done that, we can go ahead and compile, and what we'll get is we'll get this error, and that is because we need to create some variables here. So we're going to go ahead and we need to go ahead and go to the my blueprints here, and we're going to go ahead and choose new, add new, and we want to use variable. And in this first one, I'm going to type in is in air question mark. Press OK. Then we're going to go ahead and choose new variable, and this time we're going to call this speed. And what we need to do with the speed is we need to change the type, or the variable type over here, from a boolean over to a float. And it's going to ask us, would you like to break the connections? We're going to press change variable type and let that compile. Now if we save, we have the green check mark, which indicates that everything has been compiled properly. So the next thing we need to set up is the event graph over here, the admin graph. So again, we're going to go over to our third person. We're going to go to admin graph, and we're going to copy this default. I'm going to press Ctrl C, and let's go over here and press Ctrl V. We can hook these up. And if we go to compile, we'll get some errors, and the reason being is that we need to open this default and change the parameters here. So we're going to go to the idle/run, double click in here, and we need to delete the speed and the blend space node here. So what we need to do now is bring in our speed. I'm going to choose get, and then we're going to go to assets, blueprint, and we want to go ahead and choose our blend space. And this is easy to notice as it's a different color here. So we're going to left click, drag, and we can plug this in here, and we can plug this in over here. So once we've done that, let's close this. Now this second one is read only. So what we need to do is we need to open this, and we're going to take, I think we can, yeah, what we'll do is we'll just delete this and reconnect. So we just left click and drag from one node to another, just like as if we was using a material. Double click on here, and we need to go ahead and find my blueprint, go to is in air, click and drag, choose get, and connect this up. And we can compile this, and let's carry on. So next one, we need to go to the jump, and we want to go ahead, go to our assets, and this is the jump start. So we can go ahead and choose jump start, left click, drag this in here. We can plug this into the result, delete this. And what we can do on this one is we can uncheck the loop animation, and we can save and close this. We're gonna go into this one over here, and we're gonna select this node, we're gonna copy it, and then we're gonna delete this. And we wanna connect these up. There we go. And we can paste this in here. And what we want to do is we want to right click and type in time. And we want to use this time remaining ratio for jump start. And we can plug this over here, and we can plug this in here, and we can save this and continue on. So we're going to go to the jump loop. And in here, all we want to do is bring in our own jump. So I think I have a custom jump animation actually, so let's go ahead and look for that. So we've got jump end, jump start, and let's see, where is my jump? Oh, okay, here it is, jump animation. So left click and bring this in. We can delete that and do this, and we can go ahead and save that, or we can compile. So let's see the next one. We want to copy this knot, and we can delete these, and we can paste this in here. And I believe this was the is in air. So let's click and get that, and we can connect these up. Compile, and we're almost done. So we need to go to the jump end again. We need to go ahead and find our own jump. So we got the jump end, and we're going to take this, delete that one, bring this in. We can also turn off the looping here, and we only have one more to finish here. So let's double click in here. Let's take this, let's copy this, and we can delete that. Let's connect these two together. And again, we need to go ahead and type in time remaining for ratio jump end. Plug this into the top and plug this in over here, and we can go ahead and save this. And now you can see our character jumps to the animation state. And we also have the green check mark that indicates that everything is correct. Okay, so we have done that. We can go ahead and we can close this, and we can close this. Okay, so typically you'd normally have a default character here as a player start in the third person template. You want to go ahead and delete that, as I believe that's set to first player, and I tend to get a bug sometimes where the old character will spawn, but we want the new character to spawn. However, if we go ahead and choose play, you can see we're still using the old character. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and choose blueprints. We want to look for the additional character here, so the original third person character. We're going to go to viewport, and we want to go ahead and choose mesh. And we want to go and choose our own mesh. So we're going to go ahead and choose character. And you can see that he is in this T pose, and that is because under the animation blueprint over here, we need to go ahead and choose ours. So we're going to type in my character, and you see we have the my character underscore blueprint, and now we have our own character here. So we can go ahead and compile that. Now we can go ahead and choose play, and as you can see, we have our own animation in here. We have our own jump, and he moves around and works perfectly fine. So when he's idle, he's just going to go ahead and use the rifle. Now, if we'd like to, we could have some fun here just before we leave. So if I go back over to my character, choose animation, and actually choose character, go ahead and choose the blend space. We could, if we'd like, go ahead and delete this point here. So we can delete this, and we could bring in that dance animation if we like. So let's bring this in over here, and you can see that now he's dancing, and as we move along, he's going to go to the run and then walk. So that's just something we could do when he's standing around. So that's the basics of bringing in your own custom character. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Now, actually, just before I go, if you look here, my character is actually standing on the floor, but if that's not the case, the way to fix that is to go back into the blueprint over here, select your character, and just move him up or down. In my particular case, it's fine, but if your character is of a different size or scale, then that's something that you want to do. Anyway, as I said, thank you for watching. I hope you find this video useful, and I'll see you next time.